Well, I see that we've gone an hour, so I would like to turn the program over to Ariel and Sarah at this time so that they can go to the switchboard and callers call in, and we'll have questions for you. I will talk to you again at the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we do have a lot of callers on the switchboard, and I just want to remind everyone that if you have a question or comment for Celeste and David, that you need to press 1 on your keypad so that we know you want to come on the air, and we will take them in order. Well, okay, we have a few people who are now almost ready. We've got them in the screening room as we try to find out who we're going to talk to before we pick up, and we have coming soon. We're going to talk to Ralph. We're going to talk to Ralph here in just a minute as soon as he is done talking with Sahar. But I just want to say to both of you that I so appreciate the work that you're doing and that you continue to do and your dedication. And I just think that it is so wonderful, David, when you said that you could be together every minute and it's still not enough. That is just so wonderful. I love that. And I think that is something that's really a focal point at this point is the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. I'm seeing this in charts a lot when, and as a matter of fact, even just today, I did 2 charts in a row from 2 completely different people. They were born 20, 25 years apart, and they had the same markings and almost the same mission, and it was about the balancing of divine feminine and divine masculine. So I just want to say that is just wonderful to see it in action and see the power that's there. So we're going to go to Ralph here, and he has a question for David. So Ralph, you're on the air.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. It's just a phenomenal show. David and Celeste. Is Celeste and David both on? Oh,
yes, we're both on.
Oh, okay. I was wondering in your book, you mentioned God, and I was just wondering, as you got the transmissions, how did you know that the entity was, by God, do you mean the creator, the prime creator, the prime source, God?
No, actually, there is the God of this universe. There is the prime creator, and then there is God or goddesses that look over each and every universe. And the books that we are receiving are from the God of this universe, and a lot of the information that's come out in the last 2 books is basically information, as Celeste said earlier, that's never been known of before here on this planet, and some of it was, as Lavandar is well aware, it was time sensitive. It wasn't allowed to be told before then. But we do know how to check our sources, and our communication is not what people consider to be channeling. We do all our communications on a soul-to-soul level. There is no interruptions. There is no misunderstandings or errors in transmission. Obviously, the Earth language is a little hard to deal with as far as being a universal being as God is and trying to explain how to say this. And a lot of times he will choose his words very carefully. A lot of it comes in the form of telepathy. We will get a lot of it through images, sacred geometry. That's how we receive our information. But God definitely knows how, has a way of making his presence known if you're open to it.
And does everyone have does everyone have this capability to actually receive direct transmissions, or just those who have particular missions here in this incarnation?
Okay, Ralph, this is Celeste. Everybody has it. We don't consider ourselves to be special because we're in communication with God. Everybody can be in communication with God. The biggest problem that we've seen and that we know about with people and why they feel blocked from being in communication with God, number one, you have to learn to quiet your mind. Now, for us, it's easy for us to quiet our mind. We don't have mind noise. So it's easy. You quiet your mind and you listen and you just relax with it. God is always speaking to everybody. And he uses telepathy, and he uses the imaging and sacred geometry as well, as David was saying. But he has also been known, if all else fails, believe me, we've seen him do this. He will send a person, male or female, to whoever he's trying to get in touch with, give them the information because he cannot get through to the ones he's trying to, and have them relay the information to the person who isn't hearing, isn't listening. So, yeah, you can do it, Ralph. Everybody can. You just have to be relaxed with it. This is part of your birthright. This is something that you entered this world with the ability to do this. But the conditioning came into play as people grew up in tiny babies. There were always others saying, no, you can't have any imaginary friends. Well, they don't know. These are your spirit guides. These are children who are talking to God. They're talking to their angels. And it is a type of brainwashing, even though it's not intended to be, at least not by well-meaning individuals. But yes, of course you can talk to God. Just don't be surprised when he talks back.
Yeah. One last quickie, just real quick. I know this is not really religious-based, as you refer to God, and the name that you use for him is God. But the other issue with me, though, is you refer to him as a him, and I'm just curious, does that have any relevance to the gender, or this is spoken just generically?
Every being is an androgynous being, which means they are both male and female. Sometimes the qualities of one side or the other will be more dominant. But God is an androgynous being. He speaks to us. I'll explain the he part here very quickly. He speaks to us for all these books, and to simplify things, he requested that we just use the word he rather than always putting in he, she. Okay? God's name is so long that nobody could possibly pronounce it. And since God is the name that is universally acceptable here on the planet, that is the easiest way to explain this divine being. But he is androgynous.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I really can't wait to really get into your books, especially the last one. But is it recommended, by the way, that you read any particular order of the books, or can we just kind of go through the last one and start there?
Well, that's a good question. The last one is, again, please remember, it is all about you as soul. Where you've been, where you've come from, why you're here, what happens to you in nirvana, which people call heaven, what happens to you after mortality, and then again, what you re-enter into this planet or on another world with. So if that might seem like it's throwing too much at you, I personally would say start with the first 4.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. This has been a fascinating program. You guys are very great for coming on and giving us this phenomenal information. I really appreciate it and look forward to seeing or hearing from you again.
Thank you, Ralph.
Very well said, and we thank you for calling in. So I'll talk to you next time, okay? Thanks, Ralph.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, I just want to say that I think the storms that Sierra were talking about have probably hit because she got cut off, and I haven't seen her come back in yet. But we do have Anastasia with us, our dear sister and partner, Anastasia. And sweetie, if you have any questions or comments, hello. I was just going to say you're welcome to chime in, and if you have any questions or comments or things that you'd like to add.
I do have a couple of things. I want to thank our guests. They're so beautifully spoken, and I looked at their websites, and they're just beautiful. So you did a beautiful job on your websites, and I personally want to thank you for coming on to tonight's show. It's just been really fascinating and wonderful. And, Ariel, I have to agree with you. I was just nodding my head here, what you said about the balancing of the divine masculine and the divine feminine together. This really is a wonderful component of the change that we're coming into, to balance these two energies together, working together, doing the soul work and manifesting divine light is really a wonderful emanation of totality that heals and helps, and I want to thank them for finding each other and that it's working out like this. And I had to tell both of you, Celeste and David both, that when I saw your photographs on your website, my heart just opened up. Now, Celeste, I could just give you a hug. I feel like I have known you for for a long, long time, so I recognized you. So anyway, there's lots of other things to talk about, questions, but I'd like to just go ahead with the calls. But thanks, Ariel, for letting me thank them and chip in a little bit here.
Well, that's great, Anastasia, and I'm going to leave your mic open so you control your own mute button, and if you have something else that you want to interject, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we are going on now to talk to Jeremy. Let me get your mic open, sweetie. So, okay, Jeremy, you're on the air.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much as well for coming on. I, among other wonderful cosmic beings, have been interested in the Ascended Masters, and I'm curious as to how you guys have interacted with them, your information on their connections to particular cultures, and anything else that has to do with sort of tapping into their work and having a mutually beneficial relationship to these masters.
Okay. We'll let David start that, and then I'll jump in.
During the nighttime, as we said, we're busy all day long, and then at nighttime we take off and go to the ships. We will go to different parts of the planet. We'll work with the different masters, the different star keepers on the planet. But during the nighttime, we have, to date, I'm going to take a rough guess and say that we have met somewhere between 40 and 50 of the different masters. They will show themselves to us in a form that is comfortable to them, that they feel is going to be comfortable to us, and they will take us to different parts of the planet, to say different sections all over Europe where there's such a varied culture over there, and they will show us what they've been doing to try to assist the people, what needs to be done, and part of this communique is helping them to show us exactly what we need to be telling people through the website about what is going on. And also, the masters, they are phenomenal. They have their own descendants
from other worlds who are here on the planet. So, for instance, someone from Andromeda who is living on the Earth star planet and is, let's just say, Italian while physically alive, in the physical life. They are still then an Andromeda Italian. Boy, is that a mouthful. But they are. They really, really are. So, the master from that particular home planet who has his descendants there, because they are descendants, they are from the same world. It's like being from your hometown and then going to visit others who have been in your hometown. And they literally are seeking out all of the ones from their home world. So from the Pleiades, the Arcturians, every race you can think of, and there are many races that most people don't know about, but that would be too much to get into today.
Sure.
But they're here to interact, to help, to offer guidance, support, to give on a soul-to-soul basis everything that each male and female on this planet needs. They will set off little bells. Honestly, they sound like little jingling bells when they want to get certain people's attention. They will arrange a set of circumstances to take place that is part of the pre-birth agreement, where something has to happen at a particular time on a particular date. Maybe it is the 22nd or the 23rd of a special month, where they come, this man or woman will come to face with themselves. There's a time of contemplation that sets in. It's also known on this planet as the alone time.
Wow.
You can identify with that very well.
Yeah.
And that was when some of the greatest miracles take place. The masters are just extraordinary. Some of them are very stern, and yet others are much less stern, but I certainly wouldn't suggest anybody try to cross swords with them either.
Mm-hmm.
But they're here for the good of the planet, for the good of every person on this planet. They're also working with all the animals now. Everything, every life form, the blades of grass, everything you can think of is all under the Master's control. The Masters are also working with all the luminescence. And you may not know this yet, but gods and goddesses in any universe are called the luminescent of that universe. So when we say the luminescence, plural, just as the God of this universe is a luminescent, they have their own collective, and they work right with the Masters. We've watched them. We've watched the luminescence and the Masters and the Star Keepers, especially the more evolved ones from all different worlds, who have their ships close by, who are walking on this planet. Some are here just to work with the Masters and the luminescence. But it's not to save this world. This world is going to be saved. That's already been decided. But it will be saved with or without the human race. So what everybody does now is defining themselves as true human beings and giving them the privilege to live on Earth. Living on Earth is not a right. It is a privilege. But I'm so glad you asked about the Masters, because, the work they do is just phenomenal. It's just beyond words.
Yeah, thank you. And I could really feel a bit of an intuitive connection. I have to say, Celeste, you sound like one of my aunts or one of my own family. I'm from Pittsburgh, so you have that very deep and abiding strength of womanhood that I grew up with. So I want to thank you personally. It's like Anastasia was saying, I feel like I know you from somewhere. And David, I will also come out as an Arcturian starseed. So I am loving reading and intuiting my home space among a couple of other stars. But thank you all so much, and I feel like very much from what you said, I can start to intuit very much those who I've known and those who I feel I can contact and be a part of their work. So thank you all so very much, with much love.
Thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate your call.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Well, we have another couple callers with questions, but I was thinking, Anastasia, the question not the question, but the thing that we were talking about earlier today with alignments, I think it might be great because I think Celeste and David might have some input on what that might look like.
Sure. You mean about the asteroid?
Yeah.
Well, we have an asteroid coming our way. In fact, it's today, actually, this very day. And it was reported, everybody, on spaceweather.com. So if you go onto that website, it's a site that mostly covers solar news, but also asteroids in space. It gives a chart of near-Earth asteroids and also a connection, incidentally, to covering the much-anticipated Venus transit, which is going to happen on June 5th, where Venus is going to cross in the face before the face of the Sun. And that is going to be covered live on a number of websites, and all of those links are on spaceweather.com. That's a once-in-a-lifetime event. I think it occurs every 122 years. But anyway, sorry, I got off the subject a little bit, but today's event is a small asteroid that is about the size of a bus, I guess. It's up to 10 meters wide, a half of a lunar distance, which is passing now within our geosynchronous orbit. Isn't that something? So it's very, very close. And incidentally, if you follow those sorts of things, as I have been doing for our High Strangeness segment, there have been a tremendous number of incoming asteroids and comets and space debris that are entering the Earth's atmosphere. So, we've been experiencing booms and flashes of light and all kinds of incidents in the sky that doesn't have any standard explanation. But anyway, today, right now as we speak, that little rock is coming very, very close to the Earth. A half a lunar distance is very near. That's really, really close.
Yeah, I would say. So I'm just wondering, Celeste and David, do the Masters have anything to say about this? Is it a signal of timing? Is it anything that you have any information about?
Well, what I'm seeing, and I'm listening to right now to Master Cato, Master Cato is saying this was not unexpected. It is something that had to come close, but without impacting on the Earth star planet with any deleterious effects, yet there are magnetics involved which may add some density in certain parts of the planet as the asteroid passes. There is nothing to be concerned about in the way of fear, but there will be at least 20 more asteroids between now and 2025 that will come close, but still there will not be a direct hit. Anything that comes too close, that the magnetics are being alleviated to a certain degree, as long as they are not too harmful. However, with every asteroid that comes close, there is a high probability that it can happen that the weather may change to a little more harsher, more severe increments of weather for a short period of time. And he said, do not be concerned. This was already foreseen. And he made a slight comment about if they put more on that spaceweather.com website you were talking about, if they let you know even more as much about all these other things as they really do, then I could give them high kudos. Right now, I can only say, and it's like shaking your hand left and right. Either way, 50-50.
Okay, when you're saying that he's saying either way 50-50, is that they're not quite telling everything?
They're not quite telling everything, yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to describe that over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I got the
that.
visual. I got the visual, and
Yeah.
I think that's what he was intending to say is that as far as really doing an excellent job, they're kind of like so-so, I guess, because they're not telling everything.
They just discovered this yesterday. Only yesterday was it discovered.
Oh, well.
But interestingly enough, she mentions the magnetics, and certainly there is a connection with that, along with the solar flares and the things that are going on in our solar system as we're moving into the center of the galaxy. We're coming up against a huge energy band that they have discovered, and there's a lot of magnetic activity occurring on the planet, in our solar system, and in our galaxy. So that's all very correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, absolutely. I think the point was that what was being observed about that particular website is what they're saying is true, but there's more of it that's not being said. So
right.
Yeah,
and
yeah. So
I'm
that's
sure
good.
that's accurate.
It's a good resource. It's a good resource to get at least some of the pieces of the puzzle, and that was great. That was great, and thank you to Master Cato for helping with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and when Anastasia and I were both talking about the perfect balance of divine masculine and divine feminine that we are seeing in action in the two of you, when at the beginning of the show when you both said hello, I couldn't tell you apart. And I've got my ears tuned up now so that I can tell, but there is a slight total difference, but energetically you're almost like speaking as one being, and I'm listening while you're finishing David's sentences and vice versa. And that's really, like you said, be the change you want to see, and to have that divine feminine and masculine balanced in each of you so well that it really helps others to see how it's done. So thank you for that.
Yes.